Welcome to Kitchen 143. I am your host, Michelle Aventajado, your resident mama in Manila. Thank you for joining me this Tuesday evening. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were out and about in Calamba, Laguna, and we were able to visit Full Circle Craft Distillers. So of course, you guys may be familiar with this proudly Pinoy gin that is made here. ARC is something that has somewhat of a cult following. So for those of you who are watching, of course, we would love to hear what you want to say. We're live on Rappler.com, Rappler YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and of course the Mama and Manila Facebook page as well. So guys, leave questions or comments you might have in the comment section so that we can, of course, answer them. Joining me today is Matthew and Lori Westfall. They're the power couple behind this brand that's proudly Pinoy, and of course bringing world-renowned accolades home to the Philippines. Hi guys.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks. Yes.
I'm so excited to share with everyone. So of course, earlier we were able to go on the full tour, right, of the distillation process. You taught us about the distillation process and the whole facility here. And I'm excited to share that with. Do you want to just share a little bit about the brand before we show everybody what we did on tour?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we opened up in 2018. This was really a retirement project and a passion project to put the Philippines on the craft spirits map. We travel around the world and, we see that Philippine spirits really weren't there yet. And we thought it was an opportunity to pull on my family history and Lori's family history, our family farms, and really do something special where we can bring a taste of the Philippines out to the world.
Well, I think you really have done that as well in an award-winning way, of course, because almost all of the gins that you have put out have won awards, both gold, platinum, and master's level, right? So with these competitions. So let's go on the tour and let's share with everybody how they make the gin here in Calamba.
Put together a little museum space here in the distillery and really to sort of share some of the inspirations behind Full Circle as a distillery. And one of them is my grandfather. And he actually came to the Philippines in 1918, became a Philippine citizen in 1926 and died here in 1937. He was actually a refugee from St. Petersburg, Russia, escaping the Russian Revolution. Worked at San Miguel. His microscope and some of the other things here. And it was just, we've always been fascinated by this family history. Here he is driving Rojas Boulevard, along Dewey Boulevard at the time, and so forth. One of the things he did working at the Royal Soft Drinks plant is he invented Royal True Orange in 1922, and that's one of the legacies that he left behind. And it's really been an inspiration for us that to hear someone working in food and beverage literally 100 years ago. He arrived in the Philippines in 1918, and we opened up our company in 2018. So we're literally 100 years in the making. And so, we have his naturalization certificate, and I'm very proud that he moved from Russian to being Filipino, and sharing some of the products that he brought to the market and so forth. So he's been one of the inspirations. But the other inspiration actually is the beauty of the Philippines and really looking at the rich botanical sort of inventory that we have here. And one of the things we really like to show off is Father Blanco's books, Flora de Filipinas, that was published in 1837 and has gone through multiple iterations. But what it was 180 years ago, think about this, the Philippines was at the cutting edge of botanical nomenclature and classification. And this was a bestseller in Madrid. People were really talking about the Philippines. We were doing things with essential oils and flavors and aromas before anybody else.
Right.
We also do private label, so we do things for Amanpulo, a yacht owner, for the Ayalas. We do actually the American Club in Singapore. So we have a lot of fun playing around with recipes and really reinterpreting gin flavors based on basically the needs of the client.
Yeah,
exactly. We talk a little bit about the progression of the bottle and the labels and sort of how we moved from, we were inspired originally by antique apothecary bottles. and then moved through and ended up with our custom bottle for Archipelago that has the Philippine sun on the bottom, and we're really trying to do something that shares the beauty of the Philippines. Antique gin bottles, really sort of looking at, again, at that progression and so forth. And everything we do is artisanal and handcrafted. And one of the things, before we move into the distillery, I'd like to share is it worth it, right? Is this authentic narrative where we have really complicated supply chains? We're bringing in pomelo from Mindanao, we're bringing in mangoes from the Sol Pangasinan, we're bringing in sampaguita, ilang-ilang, and kamia flowers from Laguna, working with all these fresh botanicals to handcraft this gin. Does it make a difference? Because most of the industrial gins that we see in the market today, they work with dried botanicals. They don't work with fresh. It's just really too complicated and not cost effective. But what we find is when we enter our spirits into international awards, we do very, very well. So I'm talking platinum, double gold. Right. We just won 2 master awards in London and so forth. So what we're finding is true craft spirits enthusiasts really embrace that narrative.
I can appreciate that. Yeah. So it definitely makes that much of a difference then for the botanicals to be that fresh, bringing them in from all over.
It does. And in fact, one of the things that was kicked us off, it sort of inspired us in the beginning was in Germany in 2010. We were talking with Christoph Keller, who was behind the Monkey 47 brand. This was before anyone heard of it. And when we saw how they were making their gin, they're working with pomelo, cinnamon, star anise. And they were saying, and other distillers in southern Germany were saying, well, you're from Southeast Asia. That's where all the flavors come from.
Right.
And they said, you must have a world-class gin there as well. And we said, well, not yet. So that was back in 2010. And then fast forward to 2018. Right. We really put together Full Circle with an aim to put the Philippines on the craft spirits map.
And you've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really trying to bring in world-class equipment and authentic processes and merge those together to create something that changes that narrative about spirits in the Philippines. Maybe first the botanical room. We work with a lot of fresh fruit, the pomelo and the dalandan, the calamansi and the dayap. But there's certain botanicals, of course, that don't grow in the Philippines.
Right.
So juniper, which constitutes about 90% of any gin recipe.
Okay.
We source our juniper from Tuscany in northern Italy. Okay. This is a very premium juniper.
We like
with
Italian.
A little bit of a citrus edge to it. Mm-hmm. Cinnamon.
We actually have cinnamon growing here.
We do have cinnamon here. We have cinnamon and we have cloves and cardamom here. Star anise comes out of Vietnam. The rose petals come from Egypt.
Okay.
The angelica seeds come out of, it's been complicated, predominantly Ukraine.
Interesting.
And so we've had a little bit of
so
problems.
How has that been?
So now
late?
we moved to, we found a second source now in Germany and in Poland. So we're looking at that. And then another very important botanical is coriander. Mm-hmm. And again, we do have coriander here, but not in the quantities and quality that we need for gin distilling. So we source this from anywhere from Canada, as well as Ukraine, Moldova, Eastern and Central Europe. So that's that. And then what we do is, because we're trying to preserve the flavors and the aromas of the botanicals, we store it here. We just have a new delivery, so you're not getting the full aromas here, but lavender, cinnamon, lemon balm, cardamom, angelica, and so forth. And then we pre-mix our botanicals and we work with measuring those. As the head distiller, I'm the only one who actually measures things.
Okay.
We do keep some things, I don't know what's in here, I gotta be careful when I open up. Okay, we keep our Benguet pine and our fresh mango here.
Okay.
This is interesting. This is when we crafted ARC Botanical Gin, we went through 66 different distillations in Germany with Dr. Klaus Hagmann, back and forth to Stuttgart and Manila, trying to find that right flavor of what's a Philippine gin.
Right.
And these are some of the different experiments, some successful, some not so successful. And when we got to number 67, tasting with people in the F&B industry here and culinary palates that we trust, we got to a point where we thought,
Okay.
This is it. This is it.
67.
The star of the show is our 450-liter copper still from Germany. This is handmade for us, specifically for Philippine gin distilling. And what we do each time we craft gin, we start with all our fresh botanicals.
Oh, wow.
So we have this on display today.
This is why I could smell.
So this is really what we lay out. So here you're getting, the juniper and the dried botanicals and the coriander and all of that. You're getting a lot of flavor here. A lot of fresh fruits, so the dayap and the dalandan, dayap, sampaguita flowers.
Gosh, this is incredible.
Fresh ginger, fresh pomelo, all very delicious, in fact.
So when someone does the tour, you actually show the distilling process?
We show the distilling process.
Wow, this is incredible.
To the degree we can. They sometimes come when it's already loaded and we're under.
Okay.
And then what happens is, so we have the harder botanicals that go with the alcohol in the pot, and these botanicals go into our vapor basket. So this is Benguet pine from Mountain Province, Sagada, all the peels and the fresh calamansi, and those get stacked up into the vapor basket, and when the hot alcohol goes through, it pulls out those essential oils, the aromas and the flavors.
Right.
So what we've done now is we filled alcohol and water today here. We will be adding all those botanicals. We'll then heat up the pot with steam. We have a steam boiler in the back, and we create this alcohol vapor, goes through our whiskey helmet, comes up then through our vapor basket where we have those trays stacked with the softer botanicals.
That's what those.
And then 7 controllable plates where we go through an 8-hour distillation, coming off at about 20 liters per hour at about 94.5%. So it's a very slow, deliberate copper distillation. And what you're getting then is a very soft, harmonized, balanced spirit where it's all a one-shot process.
Yeah.
Where you're getting the fresh botanicals and the vapor basket and the copper interaction taking its time. You don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
And coming up with something that's really a unique spirit. Okay.
How fun.
So when we start distilling, you'll see that here in our spirit safe. This is our lava rock filter for our vodkas. We actually filtered over lava rocks sourced from and foraged from 2 active volcanoes on Luzon, Taal and Mayon. And what that does is adds a little bit of minerality and astringency to the flavor. Wine enthusiasts in the US in December gave our vodka a 93 rating and put it on the list as one of the top 100 spirits of 2022 in their December issue. So
You guys are doing amazing
it's working. Thank you.
for the Philippines.
It's a lot of fun. And, the hard work is paying off. I also share with the distilling, what's interesting here, because we want a consistent product each and every time, believe it or not, this entire still is computerized.
Okay.
So under the floor here, we have sensors, and we're monitoring the temperature and the flow, everything through a computer program. The reason we're doing that is we want a very consistent product.
Of course.
So when you open up a bottle of Archipelago from last year, this year, or next year, it's always going to have that same taste.
Right. And this is self-taught. I mean, you both had careers in different industries, right?
I'm actually an architect and urban planner with a development career, and this has sort of been a hobby that got out of hand. A passion.
Well, now it's a hobby and a passion that the whole world benefits from, the Philippine.
And really informed by the German distillers. In southern Germany, there's 27,000 small-scale distillers. Every farmer has, just watch your step here.
Yeah.
Every farmer has a small-scale still,
Right.
similar to this, with their apples, their cherries, their pear trees that their grandfather planted
Like the
or something.
schnapps, no? The homemade schnapps.
And the Edelbrans, the Kirschwassers, and all of that, right? So similarly here, and this is where we do a lot of our private label production, but we also have a small 25-liter R&D still.
Okay.
So very similar concept.
Okay.
This is made by a retired German guy over near Göppingen outside of Stuttgart. He makes one a year in his garage. And he made this one in 2013 for us.
You waited for him to
So
make it.
we designed this with him. So again, 25-liter pot, helmet, controllable plates, vapor basket, and then we're able to play around with different flavors.
So 2013, you started playing with the flavors. 2018 was when you found number 67. Is that when you
started here? And
Yeah.
when he built the.
So it's actually interesting. If you look at the progression, We started our distilling on a small glass still, literally in our kitchen.
In our house.
In our house and kitchen.
Our kids are like, are you
playing around with flavors.
Mom and Dad?
And we didn't even have a source of bulk alcohol, so we'd actually take stolichnaya and just redistill it with flavors and sampaguita and calamansi and so
play
forth.
with it. The formula that you created here that, has it changed at all since then?
Absolutely. So you need to tweak it, right? And you'll find certain flavors don't come through. So we do a black bamboo gin, for instance, and for whatever reasons, the cardamom just didn't come through. So you need to then double up and add and sort of experiment with the recipe until you get the balance that you fell in love with on the smaller still, and try to see if you can replicate it on the bigger still. One of the things, again, going with the Lava Rock vodka, we do 2 filtrations. We come off the Lava Rock vodka filter there, and then we run it through here as well at high speed with an alcohol pump through our second Lava Rock filter, and then white 1 micron filter media here, chilled down with our glycol chiller, again, to clean it up and give a really crisp, clean spirit. What we don't do is we don't filter our gin. So if you do a martini with archipelago and you pour it into a glass, it's going to cloud up. And what that is all the essential oils and the flavor. You can actually see the flavor. And some of the best gins in the world, Botanist, Monkey 47, and others are not filtered. Same concept. It's a very European-centric sort of approach where it's really about the flavor. Whereas maybe the U.S. market, people want something really stable and clean on the shelf. That's sort of, so it really depends on what you want. So maybe some of the lighter stuff. So what we'll do now, so what we have now is we have our alcohol here. And then, so we start with our juniper.
Okay.
And then our heavier botanicals.
Is ginger next?
And yeah, can you help us? You can help us with the ginger and with the lemongrass. There we go. We're making gin now.
Yeah.
So all the fresh fruit pulp goes into pot as well.
Wow.
So again, a lot of pomelo. So the peels will go into the vapor basket, but the fruit pulp actually goes into the pot.
So even all of the mangoes, the dalandan, the dayap.
All goes into the pot, yep.
Wow.
And what you're getting then is you're splitting the flavor up and you're trying to distill it separately, so you're getting the right flavors and the right balance. So now what we have is, we have the botanicals and the fruit closed in, right? So close up this. We start the process. And then what we're gonna do is load the vapor basket.
Okay.
And Arissa, can you help me with those? So we'll go over here. And again, this is the softer flowers, the Benguet pine and so forth.
Right?
Exactly. So this is at the base of the column, so when the alcohol comes through, it's actually having an opportunity to interface with this. What we'll do is leave the plates open for the first third of the distillation, so we're really bringing out the softer oils unimpeded. When we close the plate, we'll then go into the fuller distilling where we're dealing with the copper and spending time with that.
And so you just stack them like a steamer. They're all one on top of another. Oh, incredible.
Thank you. So these are all sort of randomly stacked up. We're just trying to get as much flavor out. And when they come out, you'll see it's completely expended. All that flavor really goes into that alcohol vapor. So now we've loaded the pot, we've loaded the vapor basket, and we're ready to distill. So again, we're checking, right? So we're checking our steam pressure, and we want to make sure that, we're all set up and ready to go. We're doing our gin recipe here for 125 liters. And what we'll do is we'll start that. It's giving us that translated from German, water open, pneumatics on, ghost pipe, steam setting, and so forth. Are you ready to distill? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
And then you'll see now it's resetting. And the agitator is starting to
right inside
stir the pot. And we're starting now at heating 1. So this will take about an hour to heat up, and then we'll start into a distilling mode. And what you'll see then is we're going to heating 1, 2, 3, 4, and when we get to distilling 1, 2, 3, where we take our heads cut, and then we get down to our distilling at 20 liters per hour, coming off with our deflator cooling at 5 liters per hour. A little technical, just to cool it down, and we do that for about 6.5 hours. And 5, 6, 7, that's the tails cut. That's really where we're pulling off the two ends, and we're working with the hearts, the sweeter part of the alcohol for the gin. So we'll be monitoring this. Our team here, Arissa and Engineer A, are watching this, and they're watching the heat, they're watching the temperatures, they're watching the deflator flow rate, and they're watching the ABV sensor here, ABV, and we're watching the percent of the volume that's coming off.
Okay.
And we're making sure that everything sort of is stable and consistent and in line with the parameters that we've set.
Right.
Okay.
For that perfect,
So now a little bit of waiting,
Yeah.
a little bit of waiting as it heats up.
so you can actually see the agitator in here. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that process. Of course, for me, it was super interesting to learn. I got to get in there hands-on and put some of those
were good.
fresh botanicals in.
You were good. You were
Besides a
thorough.
little mishap that I had, but it was great. It was really incredible for me to see the process. So as someone who does not necessarily understand everything that goes into it, I was so surprised at all the different layers and botanicals. We have 28 botanicals, right?
Yeah.
So with these 28 botanicals, tell us about that and how you came up with what we enjoy now.
28 botanicals. Well, really what we wanted to come up with is a flagship gin that will represent the Philippines. Everything we do here is really to put the Philippines forward. So this is a passion project that Matthew and I have been working on since 2012, maybe. And because we are an archipelago made of 7,000 plus islands, depending on low tide, high tide,
Right.
we really had to select which botanicals would represent something that would, when you taste it, even when you're not from the Philippines, would bring you back to our beautiful islands.
Yes.
So we did 66 different distillations in our R&D still that you saw during the tour. We had a lot of guinea pigs that helped us along the way. A lot of chefs also were very instrumental in helping us. And finally, the flagship gin that you're going to taste now is really what we think represents the Philippines and should bring you to a tropical place like ours. So.
Right. So the rich history, obviously, and the ingredients that we all are so very proud of. This is also second to even the history that the two of you have with, your grandfather. Because there's, I think, both
Yes.
sides. What makes it incredible of how you as a power couple are bringing this out to the country, bringing out to all different countries. I mean, you said you were in how many different countries now?
We're in 18 countries now, and we've set up our distribution hub at Amsterdam for the EU,
Right.
UK, most of regional Asia, and most importantly, the United States, which is one of the most difficult markets because it's 50 states, and each state is essentially its own country, right? And so it takes a bit of time, but since we've launched, we're adding about one country a month, and it's been pretty exciting.
All rooted from a very rich history. I mean, when you were telling me about it, also you launched in 2018, which was exactly 100 years, the 100th anniversary of your grandfather coming to the Philippines.
Yes.
Right. So my grandfather actually left, he was a refugee coming out of the revolution in Russia in 1918, had no place to go. I came out of Vladivostok through Tokyo and washed up in Manila, was hired at the Royal Soft Drinks plant at San Miguel. In 1918, introduced Royal True Orange. He was working with citrus, not with beer, not with gin.
Right.
Working with fruits, introducing Royal True Orange in 1922, became a Philippine citizen in 1926, and he actually died here in 1937. My father was born here as well, and then that family emigrated to the U.S., and I was sent back over with my development career, Peace Corps and Asian Development Bank and so forth. And on Laurie's side, they've always been very much involved in agriculture. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the family
We have family farms. My father was a war baby, and he's the one that actually inspired you to start this entrepreneurial venture.
So the inspiration or the push,
Yes.
the nudge came
The
from
nudge,
Dad.
Yes, we call him a serial entrepreneur. But one of the side stories there is he being a war baby, he doesn't like to throw anything. So he loved mangoes. So when he would eat a mango, he said you couldn't throw anything. You get one of the cans that somebody would throw in the trash can. He would keep them.
Yeah.
He says soil is free, so he'll just put soil in the can, plant his mango seed there. And right now we have 5,000 mature mango trees in Pangasinan, and we export to Japan. And
Oh, that's fantastic.
and so he's like a farmer at heart, and he does have a mango farm. We have farms in Antipolo as well. So that kind of inspired us to use all these botanicals that we have, also not just from our farms, but just from the whole Philippines, because we do take our botanicals from Sagada. Our pine buds are from Sagada and all the way down to the south.
Right.
We have our suha from, of course, famous Davao.
Yes.
So really, it's really showcasing also the beauty of our country and the scents and flavors that we have here.
Which really lends itself to an amazing product that I know that you guys can all taste when you come on the distillery tour. You get to taste, you get to smell, it's a sensory experience. It's not just, I know if you guys are coming just for the liquor, that's one thing, but, there's so much to learn here and such a rich history that is authentic to what both of you really want to do for the Philippines. And I think that's something that's been a recurrent theme from quite a few of our past episodes. For me, it's not more than heartwarming. It's really this pride that so many of us take in the products, the people, obviously the produce and the botanicals in this case, that I think the world is ready for us.
Yes,
the
it's
world
our
is
time.
ready for the
It is our
Philippines to
time.
really
Yeah, we feel
showcase
that.
what we can do. So I'm excited to try this. I know, why am I the only one that has tasting glasses in front of me? Are you not tasting with me?
No, it's special for you.
That's special for you.
Okay.
We can taste along with you in spirit.
Yeah.
We have some glasses here.
Yeah, okay.
And so forth.
All right, so when you come in, you can schedule, you have to book ahead of time, obviously, for the tour. You can come in groups of, smaller and larger groups.
Sure.
As well as, the beautiful area that we walked through earlier, you could also reserve if you wanted to do parties and
Yes,
things.
yes.
Right, and bring in caterers and other things. So there's, it's really a full tour, a full experience that I'm excited to share. Now, guys, please forgive me. I really don't taste so much. My nose is strong. I can, and I do enjoy a great G&T. I am someone that, I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon, but I'm excited to taste, and I'm excited to share it with all of you. All right.
So,
Okay, so should we?
Yeah.
We'll start to walk
Yeah.
you through this. So what we like to do is we like to start with our Lava Rock vodka, then move to our flagship gin, and then complete the tasting with our barrel reserve.
Okay.
And what we're doing there then is we're starting with a neutral spirit,
I'm working.
right, and working you through so you can really appreciate the botanicals that we added into the gin, and then the barrel aging process of
Right.
really how that transforms that spirit. We're starting with the Lava Rock vodka, so that's again whole kernel French winter wheat imported from the Champagne region in France.
Okay.
This is the ethanol base of that. Very sweet, very clean spirit that then we run on our copper still for 8 hours and do that very slow copper distillation. At 45% ABV, so it's up there.
I don't know
And
if
then
you
it's
want, you want ice?
a little bit of
No,
would
it's
say
okay.
sweet,
Yeah, I
Okay.
taste it neat.
and then what you're getting is you're getting it filtered twice over lava rocks that are foraged from Taal and Mayon. These are two active volcanoes on the island of Luzon. And what that does is not only make it a Philippine spirit, but actually adds a minerality and astringency to that.
Okay, I will try.
And as I mentioned, Wine Enthusiast gave that a 93 rating in December and calls it one of the top 100 spirits of 2022 in the US. So we're pretty excited about that.
I do taste the caramel, so I like that you have the tasting notes here.
Right. And that sweetness is coming from
Yeah.
that whole kernel French winter wheat, those caramel notes and all of that. No sugar,
Yummy.
no, it's
Yeah.
completely natural,
Very good.
so forth.
Okay.
So
Would you choose the vodka or the gin?
Depends on on my mood.
depends on the mood, it depends
There
on the
is a
cocktail.
spirit for everything,
You know.
for
Okay.
every
And,
occasion.
Sure.
All right. So this was the Lava Rock vodka, which you guys saw through the tour. Matthew showed us where the rocks actually filter. So it's really
Very
cool.
good.
Yeah.
And then what we do is then we'll move to the botanical gin. And again, 28 botanicals, pomelo, dalandan, calamansi,
Sampaguita.
three fragrant flowers,
Yeah.
Sampaguita, ilang ilang,
Yeah.
kamia flowers. And you saw how we broke that up into the still, the hybrid still. We're trying to coax out
Right.
those essential oils and those flavors. And again, you're getting the whole kernel French winter wheat. And then remember, of course, you're blending it with beautiful water that comes out of Mount McKeeling National Park here, these underground, essentially ancient volcanic aquifers, which again adds another level of both Philippine flavor and also sweetness, the natural sweetness of the water. So when you nose that, you should be getting some of that citrus notes.
Yes,
Our
definitely.
juniper comes out of Tuscany, out of Italy, with a little bit of a citrus note. And all that then comes together, hopefully telling the story of the islands.
So I will try this. This is the flagship brand, and it's the botanical.
Yeah, then after you can put a
You might
little.
wanna
Put a
open up
little.
tonic water and,
And-
yeah, a
and-
little bit of ice.
Definitely taste the spice there. And maybe even the cardamom. So I think it was incredible to be able to taste this and see how it's made from the fresh botanicals that Matthew and I put in right into the alcohol
into the
and the
punch, yeah.
water to, the dried, the ones that were still fresh also, but that will go up into through the distillation process there, where it will be able to extract all of those oils. And it's really so, for me, it's fragrant. I've never actually done a gin tasting. I've
Yeah.
done whiskey tastings.
Yeah.
I've tasted bourbon. So this is actually really, I would enjoy this, even just.
And if you think about it, gin is sort of a blank canvas for distilling. So whiskeys are whiskeys. I mean,
Yeah.
people in the whiskey world would complain about that, but it's really wheat or corn or
Yes.
rye or barley. It's
Right.
really what it is. Rum is rum. It comes out of sugar cane or molasses and so forth. So there's only so much flavor variation you can make. The great thing about gin is it's a blank canvas.
And
You
you can
can make a citrus gin, a spicy gin. You can floral, herbaceous. You can bring in all these different notes however you wish.
Right.
And different countries, there's 5,000 craft gins around the world. So, places like Italy, you get the citrus and the lemons. There's seaweed gins coming out of Scotland.
Wow.
There's wonderful
Yeah.
gins coming out of Canada, working with the pine and all
Yeah.
sorts of things from the Canadian forest.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
And so now, have you guys become collectors of all the different types of gin?
We
Because I
have.
would imagine
We
you
have
would
a
want to
pretty nice
taste
collection.
everything.
We have
Right?
a pretty nice collection.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have.
Of course, we know your favorites. What are some of your favorites? Of course, we know that. What are some of the other ones that you would enjoy?
I mean, I think some of the benchmarks are, in the early days of Monkey 47, that with
Yeah.
the Ligonberries
That's
and a
really
lot of
what
the fresh
inspired
flavors, that was one of the
us.
inspirations.
Yeah.
Botanist is a great gin, with a lot of Scottish botanicals. And then there's just really interesting, some gins you'll never see in the commercial market, but if you drive around Europe, there's these small little craft distilleries around Lake Constance or Munich and so forth, where they're just making gin for their community. And
Wow.
you're getting, and it's regional and seasonal, and you're really just having
But
an experience.
what's interesting is, not to boast, and of course there's bias there, but we've have a big gin collection and we've tried a lot. But at the end of the day,
This
we
is
always
it.
go back to our
So the
own.
botanical
We still
flagship.
go back to our own, and also
course.
the black bamboo, I think, is becoming our.
The new Black
it's our
Bamboo is our
favorite,
new
yeah.
go-to gin as well.
And that recently just won
Yes,
awards
just-
too. You
yes.
guys we mentioned, so you guys don't know, we've been waiting to shoot with this Wonder Team duo for a while, but they just got back from these competitions. And,
Yeah.
Black Bamboo also was one of the ones that was just recently awarded.
Yes,
Yes.
and we got a Master's Award. We got 2 Master's Awards. And the Master Award is only given when the judges are unanimous to say that this is really a masterpiece. So really, it was interesting because we met some of the judges. They tried to be incognito. They came to we had an event, but in the end, they're like, oh, I judged your spirit and we thought it was amazing, hands down, so we're proud because
Yes, of
really
course.
the whole idea of this Full Circle and ARC is really, it's a passion project for the Philippines. It's really to bring, I think Matthew mentioned that, it's really to bring the Philippines forward. And, I've lived here, I was born and raised here, and I know how hard it is, like growing up, to always think that anything imported is better than what we can do. And I think we really wanted to come up with something where Filipinos will try the product, look at it, and say, "You got to be kidding! This is made in the Philippines. Wow, that's great!" And so. Sorry, I'll get into
Let's
our
get
little
into the
Easter
bottle.
egg.
I wanted to
Yes.
actually segue to that.
I know,
so
I
I'm
did.
glad that you did.
I know, I messed up the tasting.
It's
but,
okay, we
but I
can.
want to be sure that, because everything we do really is about the Philippines, as I said. And Matthew and I are avid collectors of old Philippines. We think we were born in, in another generation, and we just got lost in this
believe in
one.
that.
I think so. And so this is our new bottle, and everything about it is about the Philippines. And if you look at our lettering, so first of all, the name is Archipelago. It's obviously it's the Philippines and ARC for short. But if you look at our brand ARC, it's this letras y figuras, which here I have a. So if you look at this, it's really the old typography that's only in the Philippines in the 1800s, which is called letras y figuras. So here you'll see that if you were in the olden days, in the 1800s, if you were actually a wealthy Filipino, instead of having the typical European being, painted in your gown and your jewels, what Filipinos would do is their name would be painted, and within the letters, you would have either members of your family or members of your community doing what you do as your business. So, we had an example, but that would have been easier. But this one, so if you look closely at the letters, the letter A is
I can hold it for
here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So
If you look at the letters, the letter A is pouring in the alcohol. The letter R, you'll see people picking the calamansi, and letter C is picking the pomelo. So what we did is we continued the whole archipelago. You can't see it there, but with the whole distillation process, we named, and we ended up with a fiesta, which is the G and the O. So, and and also a little Easter egg with a bottle is the Philippine sun. That's from our flag. So just really all about being Filipino and making us proud all over the world.
So I think that for me, the most impressive, whenever we have guests on the show, obviously we want to get the backstory. We want to know what happened before you created these award-winning spirits. The authenticity that comes with what you do, whether it's in the bottling or in the sourcing of the ingredients, or even in, how you're building your team. I think it's really important to share before we taste the last barrel reserve. Matthew, you shared something with me that I was quite impressed with about your team and how you're building, even students and interns that you're taking, but also your engineer and your people who are helping you behind the scenes. It's really also about how you're building up the individuals who you're working with.
I think part of that is, we've had our careers. Lori's still in her career, but I'm retired. I've worked
This
35,
is your
40
career.
years in development. And,
This is the next career.
So, you've gone through that. You've proven yourself. You're okay with that. When you start a passion project, it's really there's a different set of goals here, a different set of objectives. And here we're trying to create not only a legacy, but something that really transcends down through the entire organization. So part of that is working with local folks, kids from Calamba, Santo Tomas nearby, bringing them in and training them up. We have a great team of interns that just came from UP, Los Baños. They've joined us. And that's one of the most exciting things, working with the youth and so forth. We also, our distillery team is two young women really exciting.
Yes.
And what's-
Girl power.
Yeah,
it's
lots of girl power here.
And what it is, you know, in the distilling industry generally around the world is
men.
very male dominated. There was a handful. There was like 5 known, you know, well-known sort of female distillers, but it's 99% men.
Yeah.
And that's something we're very proud of as well, that we're sort of, you know, mixing it up here a little bit. And also just the opportunity to, you know, to bring people in. Part of our mandate here is we're not trying to just flog spirits and sell things. We're trying to educate and uplift. We have a museum space here.
Yeah.
We talk about the family history. We talk about the family farms. We talk about Flora de Filipinas and Father Blanco and the books, the Augustinian priest from Intramuros, who documented all these botanicals. We have such an incredibly rich history here that goes back, you know, forever. And celebrating that is something that we all should do, and this is really what we're trying to do here in our space.
And not many brands do that. So I think that's, you know, for me, it's one of the things that impresses me most is, you know, that it's not just about making, you know, a spirit, but the history and the even moving forward, the future.
Yes.
So you're tying that all together in a way that's completely authentic and of course good for all of us who enjoy the great G&T.
And I will tell you, you know, that authenticity narrative, when you take the time to not cut corners and you invest in world-class equipment and you take time to train yourself and learn, it resonates. When we go into the European markets, when we go into places like Florida and Texas, I mean, we're in Stockholm at the Gin Festival there, and people are like, we had no idea this could happen in the Philippines. And that just makes us smile because that's exactly what the sort of reaction we want.
That was your goal.
We're surprising people with the potential and the ability of the Philippines to perform at world-class standards.
Yeah, which we truly can. And I'm finding this, and you know, this really is the recurrent theme. I love my job because I get to meet such people, you know, like yourselves, chefs who are also cultivating cacao, and you know, other chefs who are cultivating Pangasinan salt. We were talking about that earlier, right? So it's really been such an educational experience. So I'm ready for the Barrel Reserve.
So the final spirit now is we take our same flagship spirit, we lay it down in New American oak barrels.
Right.
These are sourced from Seguin Moreau. This is a top cooperage in Napa Valley.
Right.
For the Burgundy wine industry. So these are Burgundy wine barrels, new oak.
Yeah.
And what we do is we age it only anywhere from 2, 4, 6 months, which is first, second, or third use. And then what you're getting there is a sipping gin.
Yeah.
So what we're rounding out that spirit now, that color is all natural. That's from the oak. And you're getting that toasted marshmallow, that brioche,
It's very
That's
different.
caramel flavors and so forth. This is one of the spirits that just won the Master Award in London with the Asian Global Masters. So we're very proud of that award as well.
Congratulations. So I'm ready to try this. I definitely smell the sweeter, the toasted marshmallow that you were talking about. Also the vanilla. I need the cheat notes, but I'm excited for this. So this is the Barrel Reserve.
This will work very well in sort of your darker spirit cocktails, your Manhattan, old fashioned, just a sipping gin. Something nice.
I could just have it neat like
exactly,
this. It's
with ice.
so
That's how,
good. Neat or even on the rocks,
It's a light dark spirit is what we call it.
Fantastic. So what else can we expect? Like things to come in, you know,
Sure.
the next...
We have 2 new variants that we just launched in the UK.
Maybe what we
and,
maybe take a taste of this. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
This has really surprised the gin market because it's never been done before.
It's our black bamboo
And what
gin.
this is
Let's show the bottle because it's just so
this is
pretty.
Organic,
Hold it nice and still.
black bamboo grown on the family farm in Antipolo. And what we do is it's sort of a flavor counterpoint to the flagship gin that's citrus and fruity.
Okay.
And here this is sort of herbaceous, earthy, and spice.
Okay.
Grassy.
So it's you're getting that grassy forest floor sort of flavors.
Should you like this one more?
I like this one.
Yeah.
This one is growing on
like
us
this
as
one with a meal, actually. You know,
and
so.
we were just enjoying this last night. In fact, it's
You were reaching. Would you like?
No, I'm good. I've had my. We'll imbibe with you.
Ooh, it's
Well,
so
What you're getting
fresh.
here now is it's all the fresh black bamboo, but you're getting cardamom, black pepper, and again, of course, the whole Colonel French winter wheat
Okay, I can't resist.
that will give some sweetness to
Love
it.
your own, you know.
Yes, of
Right?
course.
And what's interesting is we're really it's when
I'm
we're
gonna show that
out,
bottle.
talking in the market, people will taste the floral and the citrus flavor flagship gin. That'll be very impressive. And then we just sort of take them 180 degrees in a different flavor direction with the black bamboo. And they're like, wow,
Wow.
you have a really nice
Yeah.
portfolio of spirits that really covers a lot of flavors. The other thing is craft cocktail.
Right. Well,
Craftsmen.
this is huge
Yeah.
They
right
love
now.
to be able
It
to play
is,
around with
right?
new flavors
Yeah.
and so forth.
So this is out now. This is, or not quite yet.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Yeah.
Here at the distillery, I think. and,
Yeah, here in the
just
distillery,
getting
but-
into the market.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
in the EU market as well.
But in the EU, it's
And you can
available
open it up
now.
with a little
Fresh.
tonic
It's
water.
got such
Yeah.
a different.
It is. It's so
nose,
different.
And it,
But that's what we said. We said we should make something that is completely different from our flagship.
wow.
It's different.
So you're getting that
Yes.
warmth and spice, but it's also very tropical and sort of exotic. And it's,
Yeah.
I like this too. I see why
Mm-hmm.
you like it as well.
Yeah.
Now it's hard to choose.
It is.
It's
very hard.
You
You don't have
could
to.
go back
You
and
could get,
keep going forward
oh,
and so forth.
I'll
Yes.
take one of all, one of each.
And you know, my view on craft gins are things change over time, right? Gins get bigger and bigger sometimes, right, as companies.
Yeah.
And their recipes have to change because they scale.
Right.
So necessarily their flavor profile changes.
Will
So
also
they go from
change,
fresh and
right.
delicious and working, and they get a little. They're working with drier botanicals, and then they become sort of like almost like an industrial thing. Not bad, but a different.
Yeah.
Right. So it's sort of I view it as something almost like your favorite restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You have one year, but 5 years later you're gonna have a new restaurant.
Yeah, of course.
Things change.
Of course.
They just evolve.
Yeah.
And so you always have your go-to things, but things evolve. So enjoy it while it's here,
Yeah.
and maybe 5 or 10 years. you'll
Maybe
have
a
some
little
other
different.
flavor.
Okay, so then there's my next question. You know, is the goal to, you know, right now I know you're making small batches, you're hand bottling.
Yeah.
Every bottle is numbered. Guys, like you saw through the process how hands-on this entire distillation process is. Is the goal to be that big? I mean,
So-
is that something that's on,
Yeah.
you know, is
It's
that
a great question.
Yeah?
That's a great
Yeah, we
question.
talk about it a lot.
And I think where we're at with this is it's really a legacy project, something to hand down in the family, right? So on the back of the bottle, we're really talking about, you know, my grandfather and something that should have a legacy that lasts across generations. What that means then is you can't grow too large. You have to say small is sort of beautiful.
Yeah.
We do have a plan though to open up a second distillery. It's underway.
Okay.
To get us to about a 10x, we can grow our production capacity about 10 times. But at that point, you tap out because your
You don't wanna
production
be too
processes cannot change.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to change what you do.
Right.
And if we really change what we do and that would really then destroy the brand, I think. So we have a vision to grow,
To this.
but then
Yeah.
come to a plateau
Still
Sure
be
you
craft. I
maintain.
Where
think
we
that's
stay
the key
craft.
thing.
And-
It's really
and-
to remain craft.
and be authentic and never give up that authenticity narrative, which I believe is our most powerful tool in our toolkit.
It really is. And I think with any story to tell, it really is about the authenticity and, you know, the backstory
Yeah.
and how you want to move it, how you want to take it moving forward. So I'm excited for your plans. I'm excited to see what else you'll be doing beyond this. Okay, so guys, if you want to follow Full Circle Distillers, you can follow them both on Instagram and Facebook. Anything beyond? I see another bottle over there. Are we going to taste
There's-
one more or?
Just
Too many things to try.
Okay.
Again, just to show you the scope and depth of what's possible with gin.
Right.
We do a number of private label projects.
Okay.
These are sort of top tier clients who come to us and say, we want something for ourselves.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. This is Chanton,
Yeah.
which is the Boites family, and
Yes.
they have a Hamanera,
Yes.
right? They're working with the black pigs and the Dehesa in
Yes.
Spain. And what they were asking us is, can you make something that will go with our jamon?
Yes. And
And-
for those of you that don't know, Chanton Hamon.
It's
Yep.
exquisite. Absolutely
It
exquisite.
really is.
And so they said, "What can you make? Can you make a gin out of ham?" And I said, "Well, no. What do the pigs eat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they eat these acorns from Spain and the Dehesa, the Spanish mountains, the meadows." And we had them send us some beautiful acorns from Spain.
Yeah.
and also some of their best virgin olive oil.
That's
And
what I'm
I
saying.
made essentially a nutty acorn gin with
It's
olive oil and
different, yeah.
rosemary, sort of something very different.
So interesting. No, we're just
So
missing
that's a wonderful
hamon.
little gin.
Yeah, we just need
Where's the
hamon.
hamon?
Where's the
Where's the
hamon?
hamon?
We should have asked. Yeah, we have a plug. We should have asked.
This
So we-
smells really interesting
Maybe we'll
also.
show that.
Feels
We
kind
won't
of,
taste
I guess
it.
it's the acorns that make it earthy and herbaceous.
Exactly,
Right.
and as well as the olive oil.
Right.
And of course, plenty of juniper, right? It is a gin. And so you're getting something, again, very different. But again, done
Ooh,
on
that's
copper stoves.
spicy.
It's
Yeah.
spicy, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very.
So, yeah, but that's good. That's
Yeah, it's
it's
very
a good
different.
spice. It's a good spice.
But
And then
you don't have to taste these, but these are the other expressions that we've done in the past, which we
Okay.
continue to do. We have a mountain espresso vodka, so we got
this
the
might wake her up.
or okay, it might be okay. Up to you.
So what this is we take coffee beans from Atok Benguet, and we do an infusion with the vodka. And this is something, again, seasonal release, mountain coffee, 1,400 meters above sea level, Cordilleras, a uniquely Philippine spirit. This works really well
Oh,
in
wow.
espresso, right?
Espresso
And
martini.
it's just,
Yes.
if you're a coffee
Yeah.
lover,
Or a coffee
I am-
lover,
yeah,
I am a
Okay,
coffee
there.
it's
Yeah.
it's really sort of special.
Wow.
Great in coffee martinis and in mudslides and
And
White
everything in
Russians, black
between.
Yeah, Nino and I have this one place we like to go to before pre-pandemic that would do a coffee cocktail as well.
Oh, okay.
And after the pandemic, they don't do it anymore. But of course, they know us, so we
Okay.
are like,
Okay,
hey, we want
yeah,
that coffee
yeah.
cocktail. So that's Chef Kat over at CDP. But oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's
So if
nice.
you're a
That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And of course, we grow beautiful beans here in the Philippines. We have these amazing
Yes.
roasters, and people are doing some great things with coffee. So there's a lot of different things we can pair with. We're still very much a gin company, right? We do the vodkas, we do special releases, we do the private label. We are working on an agricole rum project with heirloom cane.
Yeah, we're
and
growing our
cane
own
up in Silang.
cane.
We'll be harvesting
From
in
heirloom
October.
cane. That
So
we'll be
real
crushing the
Pinoy
cane.
rum.
yes,
Made
Yeah.
from scratch
Yes,
with the
from
entire
scratch,
supply
yeah.
chain. And
Yeah.
you can come and take a look at the distillery and watch us distill it, the stripping run, laying it down
Yeah.
in barrels.
So that's
fully
exciting.
transparent. We're really
That's
happy.
exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting for us,
That's
yeah.
exciting. This has been such a wonderful experience. So again, guys, if you want to follow Full Circle Distillers, you can check them out on Instagram, also on Facebook, fullcircledistillers.com as well. You can make reservations for the distillery tours, tastings. Of course, you can also purchase the bottles here when you come, but as well as you're available on all the websites as well.
Yeah. Sure.
I've seen them. So usually we close our episodes with some rapid fire.
Okay.
I changed it a little bit because I know, we're all not chefs here. We like to eat, we like to drink, we enjoy that part of it. But I also wanted to just give, the viewers a little bit more background into the two of you. So if you were, we'll make it fun. So some of the questions obviously are food centric. We are a show that, a lot of what we do is based around really good food and bringing people together.
Yes.
So we'll just start with, we'll start with some food questions, but then we'll finish with some of the questions that I think are relevant to what we learned today. So who shaped your relationship with food and drink? Like, what would you say?
What,
Who shaped?
who shaped?
Yeah, who would that be?
Who shaped my relationship with food?
mom?
I grew up with
Yeah.
working in restaurants. So college, I worked at a Hungarian restaurant in high school.
Rapid.
And that's rapid.
Yeah.
Me, my Lola, who loves to cook, and drinking, actually Matthew.
So you guys found the love of
Yes.
the different spirits and the cocktails together.
Yes, together.
I heard that you guys met in college.
We did.
Yeah.
College and graduate
College,
school.
I was a graduate
so,
student in California. And,
Yeah.
Lori was undergraduate. Yeah.
Which is, of course, when we all like to experiment a little bit with alcohol as well. Favorite food as a kid?
Favorite food as a kid? Wow, that would be favorite food as a kid.
We've had answers like mac and cheese,
Pizza.
cereal,
Pizza.
pizza. Yeah.
For me, weird. Daing na bangus.
Oh, I love that
I love
too.
that.
That's good.
I still love it.
Yes, I love daing na bangus.
Yum.
And you know, I have this saying with pizza. You can't make everyone happy. You're not pizza. Pizza makes everyone happy. Favorite cuisine as an adult?
Favorite cuisine as an adult? Wow, we have so many, but fresh seafood. I mean, just anything with seafood.
We are in
I like
archipelago
Japanese.
after all.
I like
Okay.
Japanese.
Japanese. What color is your kitchen?
What is that
Come
color?
on, Matthew. Dark
It's-
metal,
It's a
metallic dark
bronze, metal,
metal.
stainless steel.
Yeah,
So,
industrial looking.
industrial looking
Definitely.
kitchen, yeah.
Favorite pastime that has nothing to do with food or drink?
Reading.
History writing.
I heard you write a book. You
Yeah.
write a
I
book.
work on some history.
Reading. If
So
I
he
have the
writes and
time.
you read.
Yeah, I read his books.
Perfect pair. What's your comfort food?
Comfort food. What use?
Adobo. I'll start adobo.
Calamari.
Calamari.
Yeah, everywhere we go, he will just order calamari. It drives me crazy.
I'm still waiting for
No
the
matter
perfect
what,
calamari. I'm
where
almost there.
where we are, he'll just order.
Do you have a signature dish? If so, what is it
Oh, come on, Matthew.
Signature dish that
that you make?
Yeah.
I make?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I do a number of things. So
You have
the-
to. Come on.
the fall off the bone ribs is the one thing.
So,
and then, scallops we do.
The true test is when our kids say to their dad, "Dad, it's RQ, it's restaurant quality." So he has.
He's always
Yeah.
he's always reaching for
So, no,
restaurants.
so he's earned that with my kids for his fall off the bone ribs. Your lobster bisque has
Lobster
been
bisque.
amazing, and
Lobster bisque
scallops.
takes time, huh? And so
Yeah.
does fall off the
Yeah,
bone.
you get
And
the heads
scallops.
going.
So
Yeah.
that's like
Take a bit
his
of time.
specialty.
Well, so you really invest the time
He like-
making. Takeout or dine in?
Dine in.
Dine in.
Like takeout.
Two foods that go together but don't go together. So some of the examples, like we've talked about Oreos and sour cream. Last night, Chef Rob showed us bone marrow and oysters together.
But don't go together.
Yeah, go together but don't go together.
don't
So they
go
don't
together.
go. Another example would be like green mangoes and bagoong. When I first had that, I was like, whoa, like that's so perfect.
Stumped.
Right? We can come
fair.
back,
Yeah.
but if you think of one,
There was something recently that we had. We were like, but now I just can't remember. I'm drawing a blank.
It'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
we can come back. Any kitchen or dining accessory that you collect?
Collect.
Yeah.
Collect.
Dining accessory.
Then accessory. You're big on cocktail glasses.
Yeah. I collect
That makes sense.
antique
So antique cocktail
antiquarian,
nice.
yeah, cocktail things. So you can share with my
I
collection.
like sharp knives.
Yes.
Sharp.
That's his
So it's very much like a chef.
His pet peeve is dull knives.
Agree. You could get hurt that way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, just a few more questions. What is your signature drink with gin?
It'd be a martini.
Okay.
Vesper.
All right. I don't think I've ever had a Vesper.
We'll have to make you one.
Okay. And then your signature drink with vodka.
Martini.
Martini.
Martini as well.
Okay.
With an olive or blue cheese olive.
Olives.
What? Yeah.
With the blue cheese,
Cheese
olive.
olive. Oh, it's so
Cheese
good.
olives.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
think I would like
Yeah.
that. I need to hang out
Yeah.
with you guys. So who would you say is the biggest inspiration for what you're doing here?
Hands down would be Lori's dad, Nards. Dad Nards, who not only a serial entrepreneur, but pushing us to really, just really do something special. 90 years old, he's in the office every day at 7 a.m.
That's amazing.
Pushing us.
It's
pushing
amazing.
us
And
to work
also,
harder.
I mean, it's just that entrepreneurial, like bringing the Philippines forward. Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
amazing. I think, Matthew, that gets you pogey points, even after
Yes.
all of these
Huge
years.
pogey
But it's true.
Even
He's
after all
authentic.
these years.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it though. Yeah.
Okay, savory or sweet? Savory or
Savory.
sweet?
Savory.
Savory for me.
Fruity or floral?
Fruity. I'm going to
Fruity.
start now.
Earthy or spicy?
Spicy.
Earthy.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Mountains.
I'm a beach girl.
I,
On the rocks or neat?
Neat.
Neat.
Neat at first, then
just
on
Neat at first?
Yeah.
Neat at first,
Sides,
yeah. You always have to
Progress.
taste it in its purest form, I think, to know the quality.
Yes, I agree. I've never tasted gin this way, and it's just been such an enjoyable experience. Okay, last, shaken or stirred?
Shaken. It's easy because it's easy. We just make one shaker.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So that wraps us up for this episode. It has been such a pleasure to visit both with Matthew and Lori here,
for
and
coming.
your whole team at Full Circle Distillers. So you guys can go ahead and follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Check them out on the website, of course. And guys, as always, keep cooking, keep sharing, and of course, keep safe. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.